You know, the well-known humorist Will Rogers once said, "The only problem with the Boy Scouts is there aren't enough of them." And in South Texas, we can't help but agree. The Boy Scouts of America has been providing character education to young people since it was founded in the United States in 1910. In fact, South Texas embraced Scouting almost immediately after the National Council was established, making the South Texas Council one of the oldest nonprofit service organizations in our state and nation. The values Scouting promotes are timeless. The Scout Law instructs young people to do their duty to God and country, to help other people at all times, and to be physically and mentally fit. In order to be successful in their personal and professional lives, young people need two things. They need the fundamental knowledge taught by our educational system, and they also need the moral and ethical behaviors taught by the Boy Scouts of America.
The main thing to me is that we teach our boys how to respect other people. We teach them morals, we teach them ethics. We don't care about color. We take people that are handicapped and bring them into these units and teach them things that they will carry with them for the rest of their lives.
When a resume comes across my desk and it has Eagle Scout, it tells me something about that young man before I've ever met them. That at an early age, they were focused, they were disciplined, they took a major project on and started it and finished it in a prescribed period of time, following a blueprint. And if they'll do that at 14, 15, 16 years of age, most likely that is a characteristic that will follow them for the rest of their life.
The first thing that we look for are people we can trust and that people are responsible. Handling other people's money, you got to begin there. And so, that's one of the critical foundations that I know that the Boy Scouts support. And the fact that you build those kinds of value system into our young people is critical for our success.
Today, our state government and its taxpayers, we support a very expensive system of enforcing law and order, a judicial system, and also a penal system. If we were able to reach more young boys with the Scouting program, the cost of those programs would decrease dramatically.
Character is the bottom line to being successful, whether it be in a relationship, in a job, with just daily living. Without character and having those good values and understandings of why that is so important, they're not successful in any other way, and that's the bottom line.
When you grow up as a cowboy, your next door, the rancher next door, or what, when you agreed to something, it was on a handshake, and with that, your word is your honor. And I see the commonalities with Scouting, with their dedication, commitment, and their pledges.
That's what Scouting is all about. It's trying to, teach people some basic values so that they can be the best that they can be. As the president and publisher of a major employer here in Corpus Christi, that's the expectation that I have for my company. It's the expectation I have for the employees who work for my company. If we're not adhering to those principles that are outlined in the Scout Law, then we're not doing our job.
Scouting to me reinforces family values and provides an additional adult role model. If they don't have that kind of support at home, then hopefully, if they can get involved in Scouting, that'll be sufficient to keep them out of trouble.
Children have more choices, lots of choices. Unfortunately, some of those choices are not favorable. And having them involved in a leadership program like the Scouts enables them to stay directed in the positive aspect.
For one reason or another, that strong bond between the school and the home has seemed to have shifted just a bit. And so we're looking for places for children to get those good doses of wholesome morals-based, character-based lessons. And Scouting brings that to us.
Well, I've been involved in Scouting since I was in the first grade, since I was 6 years old. And a big part of that was my parents. My father was a Scout leader at Holy Family Church back when I was still 5, 6, 7 years old, and my mother was a very big part of Scouting.
Well, the main thing that I was able to take from my scouting experience is probably just, to be prepared. Part of it is really just kind of stuck with me throughout as I, moved to college and then now into the workforce.
As a Mexican-American youth, I was a part of the Scouting program, as were all of my other members of my neighborhood that were of Hispanic origin. We found no discrimination. We found a positive image of who we were, of our culture, of getting to know other cultures and respecting people of other cultures. I find that Scouting has improved on that so much today.
I was very hesitant in joining Scouting because I thought it was a primarily father-son program. I had no idea that there were so many single parents, either single father families or single mother families, and I was just blessed to be in such a troop as 162. It's kind of hard to know who's having more fun, my son or myself.
Young people have to look at themselves and say, I am special, I'm dignified, I'm made by God, I am unique, and then once you arrive at that level, then you can say, I can do great things for my community.
So if you live your life according to the Scout law, and you teach your children to do that, aren't you living according to the Ten Commandments? Isn't that a good life?
The mission is to teach the children to respect each other and to honor God and honor your family. Without God, we've got nothing.
In working with the land, you realize that you can't just take all the time. You've got to be putting back. And by taking care of it, it will take care of you.
It gives young people an opportunity to get out in the environment and to respect the environment and to appreciate the environment. We're challenged so much now with regard to our wildlife and preservation. When children or young people can be introduced to issues like that at a young age, it creates greater opportunities for them to become involved in the outdoors.
Many people spend like their whole lives in the city, and they don't ever get to like be out and at night in the woods, and it's just great because we get to do that all the time. And
they've taught in Scouting conservation before conservation was popular. 60% of the people today out there are totally unaware of what goes on nature-wise. And a lot of these children that are from the cities are getting exposed and have the opportunity to see what Mother Nature's all about. And the only way they're going to continue to be the stewards for the next generation is to have that awareness.
Every dollar that is invested today will have a ripple effect. It'll have a ripple effect, 10, 20, 30 years from today.
You have an opportunity, each of you, to invest in the future of our state and our country. You can invest either by investing your time, or you can invest by investing your financial resources. And either way, you're playing an important part.
When you go back to reaping benefits from something, then you ought to put back so others can continue to benefit as well.
If you can, through Scouting, save one child from the criminal justice system a year out of a community, it's worth it.
You're literally investing in the leaders of our country, because these are the kids that are going to become those leaders.
If each of us would rise in the morning and say, on my honor, I promise to do my best, to do my duty to God and my country, I suspect that we would have a pretty awesome world.
If we had a room full of people here that were people considering participating in our capital campaign, what would be your message to them about the value of that?
I would tell them to quit considering and start writing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime, maybe, opportunity for them to really impact some young people's lives. Our economy's good, and you can't take it with you. So make a real difference in some young man's life.
And that's what Scouting gives people. Great experiences that you can remember forever, that you can hold on to forever, and things that help to shape you in a very positive manner for your whole life. Because Scouting is not just when you're 12 or 13 or 16 or 6. Scouting is forever.